Hello, my kohais. Hope you're all doing well. I am your host, Tyranno Senpai, and welcome back to a long overdue Jurassic World Evolution 3 speed build in our Japanese inspired park. And today, we are going to start off by building the Megalodon Lagoon. Yes, we are introducing our first aquatic into the park. And so I've already placed down some pieces for the lagoon, and now I'm gonna tidy it up to try to hide the edges of it all, you know, covered up with rocks and stuff. Make it seem a bit more natural and less artificial, because I think that is the motif we're trying to look for. Make everything look like it has natural barriers and stuff like that to keep the animals contained and such. Obviously, there is some semblance of a park underneath. We still have, concrete and steel and stuff like that all underneath. Yeah, I'm just going around and putting down rocks and such all over the border. As I am recording these lines, the latest update for the game has dropped, which introduces cypress brushes with some mist and stuff. I've also, noticed that, dinosaur pathways have now become a thing to look out for. And, of course, the one thing everyone's been excited about, the return of Dino Kairos. So that's all going to be shown off mostly today. But yeah, I'm just now making my Megalodon and releasing the big one. I was originally just going to have the one, but I'm like, why not have a couple of them? And then I'm just going to get rid of that hatchery and put down some lagoon galleries. Because guests want to be able to see the shark, right? And of course, I'm trying to go around the edges and try to cover them up as best I can. I'm also, adding some rock textures to the bottom of the lagoon, try to give it more life, because let's be honest, the lagoon needs some work. The lagoons in this game need some more love. I would love the ability to have, the ability to manipulate the terrain in there. I'd love to lower or raise the depth of the lagoon. For shallower waters and for deeper waters. And of course, terrain paints, like the, whatchamacallit. I would like to have, kelp be a terrain brush. I would like coral to be a terrain brush. The volcanoes, I would like for those to be terrain brushes too. I'd also like, different kind of terrain paints for the bottom, like sand or rocks, that sort of thing. It's something they could probably do if they really wanted to. Come on, Frontier. If you do that, the lagoons will probably be a lot more well received than they currently are. But anyway, I'm just now going through and add some more rocks. As you saw, I did have to play the animation for the Megalodon's feeding, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't get in the way of the animation clipping through a rock, or that the shark couldn't perform it. And anyway, as you can see, it does work. Anyway, I'm just now going around, putting more rocks down and such, making them bigger, making them smaller, pushing them around, all that jazz. Also, at the time of recording this, I have not yet gotten the Wetlands DLC. I need to wait to get paid to do that one. But I promise, once that is in my hands, I will be adding some of the new creatures into this park. Either I'll be doing Irritator or probably Ostroraptor, one of the two. I'm leaning more towards Irritator because we don't have a Spinosaur in the park yet, and right now we already have 2 Dromaeosaurs and 1 Dromaeosaur hybrid. Even though I love Ostroraptor, so I might have to reconsider. I don't know yet. Anyway, I'm now putting down some kelp to add some more life to it. Literally, in all the senses, we gotta have some botany. We gotta have some flora in this tank. Make it feel less barren. And look at that. I like how you could see the rocks from above. It's a nice touch, I feel. And there was me trying to see if I could do terrain paints, but obviously, no, I can't. And then I put a big old rocky mountain down at the bottom. Like so. And of course, I try to make the terrain a bit less steep in some areas. Make it more like a gradual sort of slope. Again, I really wish we could raise and lower the depth of these lagoons, because I would love to have a shallow tide pool or something like that. And now I'm just going through looking for materials. just deleting like some of the kelp that's surrounding the viewing dome, because I'm pretty sure guests aren't gonna see much of the shark if it's obscured by plants. And now I'm going around hiding the facilities in, the classic trees that we've been using, beech and whatchamacallit, cherry blossoms. And now I'm putting down the hatchery there because I want a second Megalodon, because I want to have a male, a female, and a juvenile, obviously. So I release him to be out with her, and then I delete the hatchery again, because I don't think I'm going to need it again. And I add another feeding station for them, because I'm pretty sure 2 sharks means 2 feeders. And then, of course, I put down a temporary birthing birthing spot for them to have their pups. Now I'm just obscuring some more stuff with rocks. This is a very rock-heavy build, for the most part. And there we go. We have a pregnant Megalodon that should be making her way over to the hatchery. And voila, a cute little shark. Baby shark, do. You know, how all the memes. There, I said it for you. I did run into a slight issue where sometimes the sharks would get stuck in one spot. I think I've resolved that by removing some of the rocks that were there. Obviously, I had to trank one shark. Well, I thought I had to, until I removed the rock and saw the shark leap out of the water to grab the great white. Cannibalism at its finest. But then, of course, I had all this blank space right here, and I thought this could probably be like a impromptu build right here that I could use. I didn't know what I was going to put in there at the time, but later I did figure it out. But as you can see, I'm just now placing down a fence and a gate. Of course, I wanted to not use the standard gates and fences. Well, at least the standard fencing that we had, in the previous case. I wanted to always change it up, like try to make each build unique. So I experimented a little bit. First with rock walls. Obviously, that wasn't really what I wanted to look for. So instead, I started looking at the regular fencing and walls and other such to see if there was anything I could possibly use as a substitute. I still ended up using, these kind of fences as a sort of way to indicate where I was going to be building. And again, it's all about trial and error, experimentation, try to see what I like and what I don't. See where it all fits and how it all looks. At this point, I still had no idea what I was going to put in here. So it took me a moment to finally realize what I was doing. And then, after a moment of contemplation, I decided ultimately that I would be putting Mudaburasaurus into this enclosure. Because, well, you know how it be. You know how it goes. Very colorful ornithopod. Well, I guess not even ornithopod, Rhabdodont. Get a bunch of them into the enclosure, and then have some babies. I put down some water for them to drink. Right next to the giant herbivore enclosure. Like, I think I did a pretty good job. Like, it's not a terribly big enclosure, but it does suit my needs. Put down some vegetation and give them the food that they need to make them happy. And, of course, decorate the interior with some barren and some rock. And then it was time to place a nest, which, of course, I put somewhere around the corner. Obviously, I wanted to conceal it, give them a bit more privacy, because I'm pretty sure no one wants to watch you lay your eggs. And then I finally figured out what I wanted to do for the fencing. This corrugated metal mesh sort of thing. I'm pretty sure mesh is the wrong word to use here, but hey, I don't really know what this stuff is. All I know is I like it. And this is ultimately what I decided to use for the border. And I'm just now going through, selecting all this, and I'm going to click and drag it all around the border of this whole enclosure. It's a very extensive and exhausting process. Probably, well, not even more so than the Megalodon. I think the Megalodon was the biggest hurdle, and even I knew that going in. But now I'm going around, copy and pasting, sliding it all into spot, and of course, turning it, bending it to my will in the direction I wish for it to go. There's not really that much for me to commentate on, so I think I'm just gonna let the rest of this play out in silence until something new happens. Of course, I did want to put like the corrugated stuff next to the fence, but after seeing how short it was, ultimately I decided to put down some rock walls there to bridge the gap. And I like how it turned out in the end. You guys will have to let me know what you think of that ultimately. I think I did a pretty good job in regards to that. The hardest part of it all was lining up the end pieces to the fencing. Like that was just so tedious, I feel like. Because like it's just such an accurate point. And you know me, I gotta be spot on every time, or I'm going to lose it. And for the last little bit of this enclosure, I just decided to close it off with some rock walls. Make it easier on myself. And there you have it. That is, unless I'm mistaken, the Muttaburrasaurus enclosure basically done. But now we move on to the segment that I actually did today as of recording these lines, and that is the Dinochirus portion of the park. I decided just to put it along here with the Stegosaurs and Atacotitans, considering it was only a 2-animal enclosure, and I just really wanted Dinochirus in the park. It's a new dinosaur, well, not even new, it's a returning dinosaur, and I gotta admit, I miss my big duck. I needed it back, and I'm so happy that it's here again. So I gave them their own little sanctioned spot here, where there's like these cypress trees and lily pads. They have all their food there. I, of course, looked at the needs of my other dinosaurs as well to make sure they were happy. And then it was time to make some ducks. And I gotta say, their new animations are terrific. I love that they can swim. I like how they're actually able to eat from the deep water. I thought it was amazing. Like, they literally just look like giant ducks when they, like, feed from the bottom of the deep water. Oh, and apparently I forgot to turn on the contraceptives for the Thanatos Dracon, so we ended up with another flying baby, apparently. After placing down the ducks, it was time to put down a nest, and apparently these animals are so big, they actually require a large nest, so I had to obviously place one down, because this nest just was not going to work for them. So I put their nest right there along the ledge, and concealed it and such. I made sure all the animals were okay with the change, and that is basically the build, for now anyway, done. Obviously, we've had a baby since then, but obviously I'll show you guys when we get to that point. But now is the time where I go ahead and do the park tour for what I've done. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out all the changes that have been made to the park thus far. And here is the latest sector of the park, ladies and gentlemen. So, why don't we go ahead and take a gander. So, obviously, guests would come through on the zip line, like so. Well, we've already done the zip line, so I think we're just going to go through here. Right, they would pass through the Thanatos Dracon aviary. And on this side is where we have our Muttaburrasaurus, our latest arrivals to the park. Well, I guess we can't even say that anymore. Uh, yeah, here we are. We have our Metabarosaurus herd right here. We got 4 adults and a set of juveniles. Trying to find one of them, but they're kind of hard to see in the reeds. Oh my god, can you stop running for like 5 seconds, please? Jesus. There you are. You look just like one of your fathers. I can't tell what you're trying to do, though. Are you lining up for an animation? What was that all about? My lord. Okay. Yeah, look at their little faces. They have very square heads when they're small. But yeah. And guests can obviously view them through this dome, which I will go ahead and take you to. Open because I say so. Right. Go through here. And there you go. You get a view of the dinosaurs. Got some guy looking at his tablet instead. I'm in someone! Apparently. Yeah, look at that. That's a hell of a view, if you ask me. Not too shabby. Right. And then we go back. And then it will take you straight to the next portion of the park, which is the Megalodon feeding show. Obviously, I don't think any of the Megalodons are feeding right now. Shoot, I can't even see a dorsal fin. Ooh, E. My thoughts exactly, dear sir. Alright, there is a way to see them, though. If we lower ourselves, we might be able to get a view of them. Yeah, there we go. There's a shark. Big old sharky shark. Oh, now you want to feed. Yeah, there you go.
With this in mind, we try to maintain similar temperature levels for them here.
Little bugger. Right, where are they? Where are you? Oh yeah, there is also this little view here that takes you into the lagoon, obviously, so you can get an even closer look at our sharks. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, are somewhere about here, unless the disturbance in the water is something else.
The whales and sharks that grace our seas today are often dwarfed by some of the colossal aquatic species.
Ah, there it is.
Over the oceans
look at that. Gorgeous. Well, it'd be even more so if I could see the full thing. And of course, the Megalodons do have their own pup, which is adorable. Look at it. Isn't that a cutie little patootie? Despite the fact it has numerous sharp teeth. And then, of course, the last little part of this park is, of course, the Dinochirus, who are right here chilling out by their little pond. Yeah, it's good to have you back, old chap. Look at you. Oh, and of course, who could forget their little bundle of joy? This adorable little baby. Aren't you cute? It reminds me of, like, ducks and geese. Oh, I think they're going to do a social animation. I think they're lining up. Do it. Yes! There it is. That's what we've been waiting for. Aww. Aww. Oh, you're too cute. Stop it. Oh my god, that was adorable. Oh, and you're big. Big and smelly. Oh, and it looks like we're going for a bit of a speed here. Yeah. Just doing your thing. But yeah, guys, that has been all the new additions to the park thus far. We still have quite a bit of space left over. Like, we got like half the map left. Um, so once I get my hands on the DLC, obviously we will continue the expansion. I would like to get some irritators, but of course I would also like to do, you know, the Torii Gates and, you know, some other famous Japanese landmarks and tourist destinations, you know, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's going to be the end of it. If you enjoyed it and looking forward to more speed builds, leave a like, subscribe today, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything new. All my links are in the link tree in the description down below. And until next time, this is Jurassic signing off. Alrighty then, take care now. Bye-bye then.